Hello everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to check a fresh release from Hasegawa. So this is a kit in 1/12 scale, and as you can see, it's a bike model, and I have to note that this kit was purchased with help of your donations, and now we have a really great chance to review it because it's a new release, it's a limited edition which copies Suzuki GSX-R750G, so it's a red-blue color version, you can see it on the box art, and it will be interesting because this classic bike already looks like something special. It's not a modern model definitely, so it might be a great choice for those modelers who would like to build something from 1986. And as I said, it's a limited edition, so you will have to hurry up if you want to get one, but believe me, what you will see in this video review, you will get exactly the same stuff. So, first of all, I have to note the box art because it's actual drawings, and if I bring it closer, you can see in details that it was actually a hand drawn, it's not a digital image. And box size is typical for such kit from Hasegawa. Here is comparison with my hand. If I flip it over here, we have some safety information and of course reminder that it's made in Japan, while on the other side you can see some information about the kit. So there are 166 parts and assembled model will be 177 millimeters long. So quite a big one. But let's not forget about the scale. So this is a top opening box. Let's open it together. And here's what we have inside. And I have to note that as usual, Hasegawa is packing everything into separate plastic bags. So we will be opening them one by one. And it might take some time because these are sealed plastic bags. So that's why it's a bit tricky to open. But I'll try to be faster. So let's start with the top plastic bag which I have here. Okay. And this one carries clear plastic sprue together with various add-ons. So first of all, we take a look at the clear sprue, and I'm not sure if this is actually scratched. Yeah, it's slightly scratched. Really surprising, but as you can see, it was packed into a separate plastic bag, but still it arrived as a bit scratched part. Here on the vid screen you should be able to see. I hope camera will focus and you will notice, but obviously it's something what can be solved. It's just a matter of slight polishing. We also have here the main lens and let's say sub lenses for the headlamp, and also some parts for the blinkers and tail light. So everything looks really good, but I can guess that there are no masks included, so in case you would like to mask these parts, you will have to get your own masks or masking templates. Next we continue with various multimedia accessories. It means here we have the metal screw, actually 3 pieces of them, also metal spring, and this vinyl tube which will be used for the brake lines and for other stuff which is usually present on the bike. Next we continue with the plastic sprues, and surprisingly here we have all the things packed into one plastic bag. So if I zoom out you can see what I mean. So I was expecting that they will be arriving in a separate plastic bags, but here we have a slightly different thing. So I'm going to open it right now, just give me a sec and we will take a closer look together. Okay. Straight away I have to say that here we have, I would say, less colors, or it's not that varying as Tamiya's kits, because in Tamiya kits we get at least 3 colors of the sprues, while here in Hasegawa we get only 2. It's white and gray, and I mean, of course, if we don't count the chrome parts, which are supplied here on the separate sprue, and maybe I will show it first. So here they are. And as you can see, they look really good. I would not change anything here. It's just a matter of careful painting or maybe installing and you will be good to go. Okay, next we start with the front fairing. And again, it's really good that this front fairing is actually supplied as a single piece part. Here you can see it. And white plastic will be also beneficial because it means that you will be able to get the right paint shade out of the box. You don't have to cover it or maybe sand it or maybe strip it from the paint. It's ready to be used, and as you can see, the shape is carefully preserved. So if I bring it closer, here camera will focus and you can see that all the angles are looking good, and we also have these rivets for the windscreen. Okay, Next we continue with more external parts. Maybe I'll have to close the lenses because it will be too bright for you. It's a white plastic still, so let's zoom in and start checking here. So these are side fairings for the bike. We also have the rear mudguard or rear fender. As you can see, we also have the special guiding elements here which will help you with installation. There are also the special stand or subframe as far as you can see, and we have all the thin parts here which will be used for various chassis parts. And even the rear swing arm is molded out of white plastic. Why I'm so surprised, because usually Tamiya is providing such stuff in a gray plastic, but here Hasegawa is giving it in a white plastic. And here from the opposite side you can see that we have these special installation slots or guiding pins which will help you combine these two fairings together. So no worries, even though they might look big, it will be easy to get them together. Next we continue with exhaust parts, and also I can see the brakes here. So again, white plastic, and maybe I'll zoom in so that you can see what we are talking about. So here we have the brakes, and first thing, which is quite obvious I would say, is to drill out all the holes or perforations on the brake discs, because it will be quite handy for a better appearance of your bike. Next, here we have exhaust tubes, so this should be assembled out of several parts, and of course this part is quite visible on the bike, so it's better to invest some time to properly paint it and get the convincing finish. Note that it should be also the main section, the rear end or tailpipe, it should be glued out of two halves. There are guiding elements inside, but of course pay attention so that you won't have any ugly seams in between those parts. Okay, next we continue with the gray plastic sprue. So this one, as far as you can see, is mostly dedicated to the engine parts and to all mechanical elements. So maybe we will zoom in and open the lenses so that it will be more visible for you. And here you can see that these are mostly, as I say, drivetrain parts. Engine should be quite detailed out of the box, so it's just a matter of careful painting. And believe me, with some time invested here, you will get a really nice power plant, so it's worth spending some time with all these parts. Note also the level of pre-molded details. For example, here we even have the Suzuki logo on the cover of the engine, so it's worth maybe playing with some washings and weathering so that all these details will come out on your model. They won't be lost in the paint layers and prime layers. And we also have guiding elements where necessary, so no worries, it might look a bit complex, but still Hasegawa did a really nice job of, let's say, thinking through how to combine all these things together. Next we continue with another gray plastic sprue. Here the most interesting part is subframe. As you can see, it comes in two large parts, and it means that you have just to combine them together and you are good to go. And obviously it will help you to get the right alignment straight away. We also have some guiding elements here and also installation slots for guiding pins, so if I zoom in you'll understand what I'm talking about. Note that attachment points are quite thin, so it's not difficult to get these parts of the sprue. You have to be careful with all these thin parts which will be used for the engine, because as you can see, it should be really easy to break them, and then it will be a lot of fun trying to fix them. And here you can see parts for the instrument panel, which is quite simple, just like on any other bike from that time. If I flip over the sprue again, we have guiding elements for the front section of the this frame, so it will be easier to combine them together. Okay, so we move this one aside. And that's not all, because we have one more sprue to show. Here it is. So let's close the lenses again so that you will see more features. Maybe open it a bit and zoom in. So here we have more fairings. This one goes for the tail part, also headlamp and the tail fairing. What I'm still wondering, oh, now I see. So we have two versions of the rear section. Here we have the fairing for the one-seater, but there is also an additional seat, let's say, for the double-seater. Here you can see it, so it will be up to you which version you choose. Note also the front fork dampeners, they are also supplied here, or front fork shocks. And also we have the wheel rims. So they're molded as a single piece parts. You just separate them off the sprue, paint them in the necessary color, and you're good to go. And this is not the same as what you will have to do, for example, with this fuel tank here. You have to glue it out of 2 halves. I'm still not sure why all manufacturers keep supplying this part out of 2 parts, while it can be molded as a single piece part assembly. And if I flip it over, of course, we'll find the guiding elements, but still it would be better to get the one-piece assembly, which will be easier to install. Next, we continue with vinyl tires. So here we have quite a tricky plastic bag. I have to open it with my hands, so just give me a second. Maybe I'll cut through so that it will be quicker, because otherwise we won't be able to get it off in time. Okay, so what do we have here? Vinyl tires of 2 different sizes, and they look more or less okay. Of course, we do not have, maybe I'll place them here, zoom in and open the lenses. Okay, so as I said, they look more or less alright. If camera will focus, you can see the tire pattern, but we do not have any details on the tire walls, which is rather surprising. And for vinyl tires, some people might say that it's standard thing, but I would expect something different from the modern bike release. Well, not this one, obviously. And next we also have decals. So decals, it's written that it's made in Japan, and everything fits only on one decal sheet, so I'm going to open it right now. As far as I can guess, we have only one marking option, so if you would like to copy something different, you'll have to search for alternative reference photos or maybe material as video. So another nice thing is that we get the full number registry, so you can replicate the number plate you need. And of course, all these silver lines, they're replicated with help of decals, so it's also a nice touch, which will be noticeable on the model. Next, we have the black and white assembly manual. This is a typical type of the brochure from Hasegawa. I will close the lenses even more so that you can see what I'm talking about. So first of all, we have a short history note here, and also parts map and marking guide, which is printed in black and white, which is rather strange in 2022. Nevertheless, assembly process starts with an engine, so here you have to paint all the parts in advance, because as you can see there is a lot of color differentiation between them, so pay attention to this. The same goes for the wiring, because it will have to be done in advance. And now I'm trying to understand how it goes next. So next we continue with the subframe here. As you can see, you assemble it by enclosing the engine in between. And next we have the rear fender installation as well as the battery. Then we continue with the rear suspension and brake getting installed on the bike, assembly of the rear swing arm. Next we continue with the front fork, and this is not a really good format of the assembly manual. As you can see, all following steps should be folded out. Nevertheless, here we work on the front fork, also front brakes obviously, and we also assemble the handlebar. Then we continue with various wirings which are connecting the engine and also brakes on the front fork. We also assemble the headlamp and the instrument panel, as far as you can see. And here we continue with the rear cowl and tail lights installation. Then we start assembling the fuel tank, which should be actually glued out of 3 parts, surprisingly. And then you add more, such as a fuel tank cap and other things. Then you have to decide which rear section you choose, so either the passenger seat or the rear cover, cowling. And here we start working on the front cowl assembly, which is also glued out of several parts, even though we have this main section as a single piece. Next, what is here? So that was actually the last step. And here on the other page you have some safety advices and of course the ordering note for spare parts, which is not working in European Union. So this kit should be already available and you can get it in any good model shop. Again, I would like to say thank you for supporting us and helping to get this kit. Of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion about this release. Do not forget to write it here in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye.